down just a little bit. I think it was a little too loud. Hopefully, this isn't as loud as it was before.
No, it's looking good. It sounds good.
Yeah, it does.
Yeah, and we'll have the chat up here. Yeah, we're
What do you think? What do you think, Mike? What do you think
I
about
love
the
it,
merch,
dude.
Mike?
I love it, dude.
Hey,
It looks
I love
sharp
the
and white. I got mine in
I-
black. It's sharp. It's sharp and white.
You know what? That's what I told Joe. I said, and I feel like I have too much black in my closet. So I wanted white, and I think the colors pop. The colors pop out in the white, bro. I love it.
It makes people ask the question, "What is that?"
You know what? I'm gonna actually. It's funny you say that because I'm gonna have a story to tell about that on the show.
Very nice.
It's eye catching. That's what it is. It's eye catching. I'm like, damn, what is that?
Yep.
Exactly.
Especially out here in Cali, people haven't seen something like this. So
it's
Dude,
a harken back to Dia de los Muertos, but with the alien,
Yeah. I can't wait for the sports season to start, man. College football's on its way.
Yes.
NFL's on its way. NBA the week of Halloween.
Right.
It's gonna be fun for this podcast, man.
Oh man, I feel like we're gonna be in the last dog days of no sports here in the next couple of weeks,
Yeah.
and then it's gonna ramp up, bro.
It's football season. De puro pinche Cowboys a la verga, dude.
It's just I don't know what it is, but I definitely when it comes to football, college, and NFL, it's just more passion. I mean, of course, we're all passionate about the Spurs, but I don't know. There's just some kind of different feel, Mike. What do you think when it comes to football? I don't know.
The city comes together, man. The city comes together for something.
Yeah,
UTSA football, Friday Night Lights, all of that stuff.
Yeah, even the haters to the Cowboys, they hate us, but they watch every one of the Cowboy games, so you just became a fan.
We're making fun of you guys. That's why.
There's just a different feel.
It is Friday here on Area 210. My name is Mike Jimenez. That's Joe Garcia. That's Rick Fernandez. And this is the Area 210 podcast. It is Friday, Joe. And what do we say on Friday?
We don't give a damn, but you know what else we say on Fridays?
Oh, it's Friday, and I'm broke. My check better not be short.
Very nice. Joined by the famous, or should I say, like the Three Amigos style, the infamous Fernandez. What's going on, fellas? How have y'all been?
I'm good, man. Look, I'm rocking my Area 210 merch. I'm telling you, man, this white with this color pops. I'm out here in Cali, as folks know. I was at my son's AAU game last weekend in Irvine, and I was rocking this. And I'm not even exaggerating. People were stopping me, and they were like, what is that? And I'm out here in Cali, right? So literally, bro, people out here in Cali were like, what is that shirt? Like, what does it mean? And I think obviously a lot of people are familiar with the Dia de los Muertos, but the alien spin and the sombrero definitely catches eyes. So yeah, out here in Cali, people are like, what is that? I've never seen that before. It catches your eye.
I picture Joe on the side of the road at a Spurs game, selling the merch, hawking the merch out there. We need to set up camp on General McMullen and Southwest Military Drive as they go by. We just raise the shirt out like this.
Yeah. General Mullen, Culebra, Sara Zamora and Military, all those areas, bro.
I'm gonna put that on the back of my car. Like we used to back in the day, Rick. When you're part of the car clubs and calligraphy.
Oh yeah. Oh bro. We got it. Oh man. We getting into the car club. Hey, getting into those car clubs, bro. That's the thing. I tell you what. I watched this show yesterday. I was in the chat, and it's funny because Mike kept saying like, man, we haven't talked about sports, right? We haven't done this. And it was an awesome show. Because sometimes. You need something different, I think, and everybody was involved and everybody was all about it. Y'all were talking about old school nostalgia. People start getting excited about it. And y'all don't even talk sports. And, just like ESPN, all those shows, sometimes they're just trying to find some sports news that ain't even there, and you don't do that on this show. Y'all were just talking about real talk, and I loved it, man. It was a great show, and everybody in the chat was having it. So,
and everybody loved the Matt Lerma voice too.
That's where I was gonna go with, man.
Yeah, for real, bro. No, it was good. It was a good time.
Very nice. The merch looks great. We have a QR code that you can jump on for that as well. Our chat is powered by PF Chang's La Cantera. They do a fantastic job. 3 to 6, they have happy hour. So if you want to get half off wine and champagne, that's on Wednesdays, but they have a happy hour 3 to 6 every day. Go visit Sean Quintero over at PF Chang's La Cantera.
Next time I'm in town, man. Next time I'm in town, I'm definitely gonna. Steph and I are definitely gonna have to hit up that wine champagne day.
Thanks, man.
Most definitely.
Yeah.
Hey, people in the chat right now saying that they want us to go sell this shirt at Rosedale Park and at Las Palmas. Dude, tell you what, man. Tell you what. That'll work, man. These could be like gang colors. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. For real talk, bro. You know, Bloods, Crips, Latin Kings, Click, you know, Kin, you know, all those different mobs that they used to have back in the day.
I think we need to have an Exit 7 one. It just says Warbach Nice.
Bro.
Exit 7, Area 210 podcast.
Bro, I would put me I'm gonna start an allotment for you guys and just take my money. Take my money if you know, because I'm down. I'm down.
Look, you say his name 3 times and he shows up. Matt Lerma's in the chat.
Hey, Matt Lerma's in the chat. You know what, man?
Matt Lerma, welcome.
All the OGs are in the chat, man.
$2 super chat coming in from Jason Garcia. Money talks, baby. He wants Joe to do the Matt Lerma voice saying he don't give a damn. It's Friday. He don't give a damn.
Don't say it. It's Friday and we don't give a damn.
Man, hey, Mario Cavazos is already coming with the heats. We're talking about like local gangs and stuff just recently right now, and he busted out suicidal locals, SLs. I haven't heard that. I haven't heard that in a minute.
Bro.
I tell you what, I actually had some running with some SLs. For a year, I left the area, Joe, and left Keys Middle School and went to Shepherd, which is the middle school for West Campus. Yeah. And I had some runs with some suicidal locals. They didn't like me, dog. They didn't like me, man. For some reason, man. I was the new kid. It was my 7th grade year, right? I think it's because I was getting all the ladies. You know what I'm saying? Like, I was the new guy. I was rocking
You're
black,
impeding
you know,
on
they were
my
like,
territory.
oh, this dude, they were like, this dude's down with Latin Kings, you know, and I was hollering all the ladies. I had some runs with some suicidal locals. So
that's an actual gang.
It is real talk. It was.
Because
it was back in the day.
At Holmes and Saul Ross back in the day, it was the Klan, right? They get to join the Klan.
I remember Klan. Yep. I remember Clansters, bro. They would all kick it down at the movies over by where it used to be like where Just for Feed and all that. There was a movie theater over there. The Cinemark. Yeah, bro. No, bro. I remember. Yeah, and they were all Holmes. Holmes had all those Clanners. They would all wear Red Wings and shit.
Yeah,
right? And
that's it.
Yep.
Let's go hang out at Devil's Den, baby. Let's go make this happen.
The freaking field over there by Ingram. Yeah.
Yeah.
Very
man.
nice.
Orejon is different. July 26th.
Yeah, man.
So we talk sports, pop culture, nostalgia on the show. Fernandez and Joe will take over most of the show today. I have to dip out after a while because I have a work meeting, which is why I'm looking fly.
Ooh, so fresh and so
broke out
clean.
the Lululemon.
This is the Ralph Lauren look. You know, I got the.
He's got the button up.
khaki pants. I got the nice shoes.
He means business, bro.
Gonna go try to get business from a doctor. You know what I'm saying?
You gotta dress the part, bro.
You gotta wear the blazer, bro.
People don't realize that Mike can clean up a little bit. You know, Mike can clean up. So
thinning out a little bit, dude. Tipping the scales at a lower weight, man. You know.
I like the hair, man.
Long walk.
You combed it back. You look like you put tres flores in it, bro.
Oh man, yeah, I ran out of moco, man. I don't sell moco over here in Conroe, man. I have LA looks.
Flores. Hey, Mike, Joe said tres flores, bro. That's old school, bro. I love that we're talking old school, man. Yeah. Oh, Penners, dog? Oh, come on, bro. Yeah, the Stacey Adams, man. You got all that, bro.
Dude, Stacey Adams run in the Jimenez household, man. My dad rocks.
Oh, yeah.
Stacey Adams, man.
Hey, those wing tips, dog. The alligator, yep, alligator. Those white wing tips, bro. Come on, dog.
You gotta shine them up, bro. You gotta shine them up.
I saw this meme a while back that says, if he has this, look, it's a goatee with the Stacey Adams, and he has the Guevara. What is it called? That shirt?
Oh, the 4-pocket. The 4-pocket Guayabera. Yeah.
And if you have that, you have a sibling that you've never met.
That's facts, bro. That's facts, bro. That's a good, yeah. Like it's like if your pops dress like this or something like that, you got a
Yeah.
sibling that yeah.
You know, I'm going to Miami next weekend. So Chica's daughter is walking the stage over there. She's getting her master's. She's becoming a physician's assistant. They
Awesome.
present them the white
Congratulations.
coat. The white coat. So
Mhm.
it's her last day
Oh,
of
yeah.
school already.
That's
She
cool.
gets the white coat. So we're gonna go for that ceremony. Dude, whenever I land in Miami, every time I look around, I look at those shirts and I think to myself, man, I can rock that, dude. Just
Yeah.
Why don't you
just
go
get me
buy
one of
one?
those shirts.
Yeah,
I will.
you got it. Yeah, you should. You
Dude,
should.
there was one that I saw that I still regret not buying, dude. Still regret not buying, but sorry, my computer just went blank there for a second. It's a little bit weird. Hey, let's talk about the Spurs, man, and specifically the Spurs front office, the ownership group of the Spurs, making an announcement, a $1 billion commitment to Project Marvel. I think this tips the scales in favor of the residents of San Antonio, Bexar County, committing to Project Marvel, because the whole idea of, well, no taxpayer dollars should be used for this. When are they going to pony up some money? All that stuff coming up, and now the Spurs coming up and saying, bet $1.06 billion to it. Is it going to cover the full tab? No, but they're showing they're putting stake in the game. They're putting stake in the game. That's a big dollar amount. 1.06 billion reported by News 4 WOAI say that the Spurs are willing to commit $500 million to a new state-of-the-art arena to cover and guaranteed coverage of cost overruns in case it gets too expensive. We
'Cause
see
it'll
that
go
right
over
now
budget.
with tariffs and whatnot.
Yep.
Prices of steel, prices of wood, all that stuff goes up.
Mhm.
A $500 million commitment to adjacent private downtown development. Maybe that's the expanded convention center. The Henry B. Gonzalez Convention Center is amazing already. Expand it and it becomes world class. And then an additional $60 million in additional community incentives, including education, affordable tickets, and small business support. This was all part of a letter by Chairman Peter J. Holt, who said, quote, since the city of San Antonio first approached our organization about a potential partnership, the San Antonio Spurs have remained committed to pursuing an equitable agreement that benefits our community as a whole, strengthens our economy, honors our city legacy, and serves generations to come without raising taxes on local residents. As we have done so since 1973, we're operating in good faith, grounded in deep love for our community, and a sincere desire to help San Antonio thrive, end quote.
Here's more of the context.
Perfect statement.
Mike. Here's more of the
Yes.
context and what they're wanting to do for the community. They're like wanting to go ahead and put 60 million draft community benefits package includes the following proposals. They're going to allocate 30% of the arena and district construction contracts to locally owned companies. So they want to keep it puro here in San Antonio. On Spurs game days, check this out, Rick. Spurs Sports and Entertainment will underwrite via park and ride for up to
Nice.
2,000 single game primary ticket buyers. And they also are
Nice.
going to go ahead and make available 500 tickets for every Spurs home game. The tickets will be priced $25 or less, so they can have everybody be a part of the festivities over at a game.
That's awesome.
That's great, because now they're giving everybody a chance to kind of, go in there and experience a game. Because let's face it, man, like when you go to a game now at the Frost Center, it gets expensive for the marquee games. I mean, they price people out. Like even the nosebleed seats at times, they're going to be over $100. So that means it's just like, the puro fan can't go because, I mean, it's just way too much. These are things that people do, and I think Spurs Sports and Entertainment is finally realizing when a family decides to go to a game, sometimes that's it, man. They only go to that one game for the whole year. So being able to have these ticket prices at $25 or less, and they offer 500 tickets every game, that's huge, man. It shows that they want to be here and they want to be part of the community, in my eyes.
One word describes this commitment. Good. I like it.
Good.
I like it. I like
Good.
it. Great.
Good.
Right. So the thing about it is that I'm sorry, but San Antonio, I'm talking about the residents, I'm talking about Bexar County residents, can't turn this down. They can't. This is footing the majority of the bill, and that the most of what's left is going to be footed by tourists.
Look at what
Hotel,
Black
motel
Bucket
tax,
says.
things like that.
Look at the comment.
Black Bucket, this poor city better vote for it. There's no excuse not to. You can't have the bleeding hearts go out there and go, well, what about the potholes? What about the east side? What about the west side? What about the south side? It's about the city at this point because this
Those
is
potholes are going to be there.
We talk about the generational aspects of things on the court. This is a generational thing off the court. Because if you take a look, if they actually do build that land bridge, I was there with Chica the other day. We were driving by the Alamo Dome, and I told her, I said, it's possible that 10 years from now, this is all going to be covered by a land bridge with a big park. No different than, say, I'm not going to say that it's like, Central Park in New York, but maybe a park like Zilker Park in Austin, where you have a place for people to go and congregate, a safe place to be out and exercise out and enjoy the downtown area. And think about all the Final Fours that would come. Think about all the different events that would come to San Antonio because of this. It would put San Antonio back on the map because I hate to say this to everybody, we're off the map right now. It puts the city back on the map. It puts it in the same footprint as a Houston or a Dallas when it comes to venue for events. Dude, we're back in business when it comes to boxing. Jerry World took our boxing away, right?
Yeah.
NRG took big concerts away. So now it puts us back on the map, and the Spurs are supposed to be at the Frostbank Center until 2032. This is going to lead up into all of that. This is probably going to be a decade in the making. The expansion of the Riverwalk, the expansion of a brand new hotel downtown, the expansion of the Henry B. Gonzalez Convention Center, adding Terminal 3 to the San Antonio International Airport. Dare I say, San Antonio might be playing in the big leagues and no longer a AA, AAA type of city, but a big league city at that point. You know what you can get with that, Joe? You know what you can get with that, Fernandez? Spurnandez, you get an NFL team with that.
Well, you said the city's too poor. You said it was poor.
You build that.
You build it, and they will come. You build it, and they will come.
Now, Mike says we can get an NFL
the
team.
Alamo Dome. They'll have to gut the Alamo Dome. They'll have to gut it.
They're going to renovate it. They're going to make it look better. But you know what? For saying that they can get.
You can't lipstick on a pig on it. You got to have the luxury boxes and whatnot in there.
Yeah,
you're going to have to gut it somehow, some way, put it out of commission for 2 or 3 years, and then build it back up.
But you know what you get for flip-flopping again? You said that the San Antonio could never get an NFL team because they're too poor. And now if they do this, now we can get an NFL team. I say, no mames, you deserve that pinche chancla.
What's the chancla for?
Joe's coming for the throat today. Joe's bringing the heat
today.
Mike says the city's too poor, and now all of a sudden we got money for an NFL.
No, man. Mike's right though. But no, Mike's right, man. Everything Mike is saying is right. Something like this is monumental to this city. That's why I don't get. Like I said, I think some fans just are anti Spurs front office to the core. So nothing they do, they're going to go against it. So I just don't see how anyone doesn't want this. But
look at
I hope
Grupo
Grupo Firme opens.
Mike could be like, I'm out. No, I'm not going to that. If they have a Tejano,
bro, and listen, hey, man, and like Mike, as well traveled. So is Joe, and so is probably a lot of folks in our chat. And I'm not saying this to brag, but I've been blessed to go to different arenas all over the country. LA, Phoenix, San Francisco. And one thing they all have in common, Mike, is what? Nightlife right outside the arena. Nightlife right outside the arena. Restaurants, bars. It's I mean, man, it's a no-brainer.
Rick,
it's seriously, man, it's a no-brainer. I've never been to an arena other than here where I am walking distance. I fly into Sacramento or wherever I go. I don't have my own car. I have nothing. Yeah, I can walk from my hotel to bars, restaurants. If you're single ladies. If you're married, a nice dinner with your everything you would need after the game. Or with your sunshine. Yeah. Just don't go to a Coldplay concert.
Well, I mean,
I'm just saying everything you need. So you go to the game, the game's the main event. And after the game, who wants to just go to cross the train tracks. And I'm sorry if I'm throwing shade at Frostbank. I'm just saying, right? Who wants to do that, man? Like
You get
you
the
need
hell
to.
out of Dodge as fast as you can, bro. Once the game's over, you're
You're
gone.
hyped up after the game. You're ready to rock. You're ready to do things. You want to go to restaurants. You want to go to bars. You want to go to clubs. You want to go have nightlife. You want to walk to your hotel if you're a visitor. Hell, in LA, I went to a restaurant a couple of hours after the game, and Kata Baked Diop was there a couple of years
Nice,
ago. Like literally, dog. Kata Baked
nice.
Diop was chilling at a place right outside the arena. So that's the environment we need here in San Antonio.
I mean, go to a UT football game in Austin.
Yeah,
You walk out, and all of a sudden you're on 6th Street. You got stuff to do. You have places to drink.
yeah,
You have
yeah,
I will say this though, Houston not really like that because you have the Toyota Center,
mhm,
and it's kind of don't get me wrong, the Arts District is relatively
yeah.
close.
Right,
Kind
but
of
it's not.
walking.
Yeah, sure,
It's
sure.
a mile or two away, but it's at least not a 30-minute, 20-minute drive from. You're not sitting in a parking lot. But I've been to some cities out there like Philadelphia where you go to their version of Texas Live, which is
Yeah,
right outside of the Phillies, the Eagles, and where the Flyers play and the 76ers play. They have like a Philly Live right there, which is like
yeah,
Texas Live there in Arlington.
yeah, yeah, yeah,
It's amazing. I'm glad that the Spurs are stepping up to the plate when it comes to it. There's no excuses now. There's no
yeah,
excuse. If the city of San
yeah,
Get
Antonio
it done.
turns this down, then it's just
yeah,
because there's some people who just don't want anybody to have anything good.
You know
yeah,
what would
yeah.
have made this better is
Hey,
if they had an
Jason Garcia.
expansion.
Shh.
I
I
saw
saw
that.
about that side
Oh,
shot.
yeah,
Yeah,
You know,
Jason Garcia.
that's good.
Let's keep nothing to see here. Nothing to see
yeah,
here.
keep
Can
it
I'm
we
sorry.
going.
have
Go ahead, Joe.
merch?
Go
Can we
ahead,
have
Joe.
merch of,
Go ahead, Joe.
the female alien version as well for the
Oh
Chico?
yes,
Yeah,
that would
I
be
could get
cool.
that.
That would
I
be
already
cool.
created one.
Tank tops, and all that. Yep, yep. The female. Yeah, yeah, she's cute.
Y'all
She's
don't
a
know what
cutie.
I've been working on, dude. I've been working on some other ones too, man.
Joe is like the mastermind behind the scenes.
Oh,
That's
he's
got
a
stuff
mastermind. The
working.
whole
He's got yeah. He's like has projects like in advance. Like he's already planning things.
Yup.
So Joe be moving in silence. Like.
Yeah, I'm creating an ecosystem built around these things, So when you're in the area 210, with this show that we're doing every day, it's very much themed after, Sananto the puro, flavor that we have here with the alien that's iconic. It's different. And now we're adding in the female version of that and then being together and this kind of stuff. I got some merch coming out, dude.
And then
That's
we're gonna
gonna
have a
showcase
baby
that.
alien, a baby
Hey,
alien,
maybe, maybe.
down the road. That we're gonna see
I
the
like
evolution of the
Yeah,
alien, right? We're gonna see the baby
yeah,
alien down the road.
I like the
yeah.
Alienita, dude.
There you go.
She's
Yeah,
nice.
yeah, yeah.
Fellas, I gotta go work on my 1099s, fellas. So I just
Oh
want to come
shit.
say hi. Wish me luck. Gonna be heading out to the woodlands to go knock down a tree or two.
Hey, get that bank, baby. Get that green, bro. You got this.
Very nice. Fellas, y'all have a great day. It's Friday. We don't give a damn. Monday, I'll be back. Fantastic. See you guys in a
All right,
little
brother.
bit later,
See
man.
you,
Hey,
man.
take
Yeah.
care, bro. Yeah.
All right. So Mike is gone. It's just us
Mike
now.
is gone. It's just us. Mike had to go make that paper. He had to go make that money. So good
Ya
luck
la
to him.
verga. Did you just say an ecosystem?
I'm a chingon ecosystem. Yeah,
Hey.
Mario reminds me of like my pops. The limited time he was in my life. He's the kind of guy that would say something like that, right? When you say a certain word, I'm a chingon ecosystem.
Yeah, look at Jonathan Pettis says we need some Texican and 210 merch. Maybe a collab might happen here with us and
Oh
Tex-Mex
man, I
Frank
tell
here
you, bro,
soon, man.
I got those Tex-Mex Franks, a couple of those hats, man, and they're fire. They're fire.
Oh yeah.
If you haven't gone to his page and seen his merch, you're missing out, man. And those are also one of a kinds. I rock the Texas hat from Tex-Mex Frank. It's like the Spurs colors kind of. It's like silver and black. I rock it out here in Cali, and like I said, people, there's a lot of Texans out here in Cali, right? There's a military town. There's a lot of Marines out here in San Diego area and Navy. So a lot of people are from Texas. So when they see a Texas cap, it's like, oh, all right, I
Yeah.
got you, bro. Like, we connect, dog. So Tex-Mex Frank's gear, is legendary.
It is, man. I can't wait. We'll go ahead and collab. We have some things that are going to be happening here. Like I said, behind the scenes here, we're working on some stuff. One of
Mhm.
the things that I got to finish doing is setting up the creative area in the studio, which is going to be like an all-in-one little thing that we can do now, where we have the 3D printers where we can build stuff, make our own stuff here in house. Same thing with the laser printer. We're going to be able to do things with that and make merch and all sorts of stuff, giveaways for you guys. But also the addition of adding like a heat press, to make hats, to make shirts, things like that, just right on the spot. Can you imagine for game days, bro? Ya sabes, man, we're gonna be out there. We're gonna be rocking gear that's exclusive to that, just that us hanging out at that game. So we have a meetup, and we're like, hey, man, let's hang out with the gente and all this and that. We're all gonna go to a game together. If you buy a ticket to go to the game and sit in the area with us, boom, you get a hat or you get a shirt.
Yeah,
And we
and
rock it.
like you said, Joe. A lot of us have season ticket reps that can get us deals on group discounts, group rates. Hell,
Yeah.
even one of those suites with inclusive food and all that. Like you said, we get 25 people together or more. We could do it, bro. We could get one of those suites up there and at an affordable cost, right, for
Oh,
everybody.
definitely,
So
man.
yeah, man, and that's what it's about, man. And like I said this before, Spurs Twitter is Spurs Twitter, and people have beef and people talk trash, and I'm just as guilty as anybody else of getting a little riled up sometimes. But at the end of the day, man, like I've met so many cool people from Spurs Twitter, and I hope to meet more, man, this season, man. This upcoming season is going to be exciting. It's going to be fun. Definitely, I think the season opener is a good time for everybody to kind of meet up and have a good time. So, yeah, man, like, going to a game, sharing some beers, we'll be at the game sometimes. They didn't even realize the score. We be having a
Too
good
busy
time. And I'm like,
talking, enjoying times, man. Yeah.
I look at the score and I'm like, oh damn, the Spurs are down 20, but we having a good time,
Yep.
So
And look at
yeah.
that. Somebody had asked, I think it was Mario Cavazos. He said, Who won? Who won the hat from Tex-Mex Frank?" I'm about to go ahead and spin the wheel. I'm glad you asked,
Oh,
Mario
there we
Cavazos.
go. There we go.
We haven't done this in a while, Rick. So you know
Asking
what?
you shall receive. Asking you shall receive.
Exactly. So we're gonna go ahead and spin the wheel. Let me go ahead and get it ready here. I kind of messed myself up in a bit because I closed the tab that I needed to go ahead and hit the button to go ahead and spin the damn wheel. So let me go ahead and get that back up and running here. Give me a second, fellas. All right, got it back up. Let's go ahead and take the wheel for a spin. See who's gonna win. These are the guys, the fans, I guess, should I say, that went ahead and gave us the super chats the other day when Tex-Mex Frank was gracious enough to donate the Texican hat. So we're gonna go ahead and spin the wheel now.
Hell yeah.
Oh,
Jonathan Perez. Yeah.
He already won a hat. I gave him one, so now
Really?
he's got another one coming to him. There you go, brother.
He just said something. He says, "I don't have X, I don't have Twitter," but man, Jonathan Perez, come on, bro. How do you live life without Twitter, bro? Jump on, bro.
He's got Insta.
Come on, come over, dog. Come over to Twitter, bro. Come over to Twitter, baby.
So congratulations to Jonathan Perez. I'll be reaching out to you via Insta like I did last time.
Hanover Fist says, "Spin the wheel, make the deal." That's facts. Hey, Sam Selena says, "Where's his name?"
I think I put him on there.
Oh, I didn't see it.
I thought I put him on there.
John. Hey, sorry, no recount.
Spin the wheel, make a deal. Let's go. Jonathan Perez
it.
won. Well, you know what? I got another hat too. So you know what, Sam? Since I didn't put your name on there, I'll go ahead and send you one too. So we'll go ahead and have two winners: Sam Salinas and Jonathan Perez.
There you go,
bro.
There you go. Joe's a man of the people, man. Joe's a man of the people. True man of the people.
Yeah. So there we go. So what we're gonna do now is we're gonna kind of talk about a little bit of nostalgia talk here. One of our favorite subjects, and we're gonna go down memory lane because you know what? We found out the other day that we lost the great Hulk Hogan here. And it was a big part of our childhood growing up in the 80s because a lot of us here, we had an affinity to go and watch WWF back then in the morning in the 80s. It was coming out on Saturday mornings. And like I said, I would go to my grandma's house every Saturday. We would all congregate there together.
Same.
Nothing but cousins, bro. We're like 20 deep in the damn living room, man. Trying to watch cartoons or WWF on the little TV, there. And we're all getting into it, dude. You're out there wrestling your damn cousins too in the living room. They're getting mad because you're being nestials, jumping off the sofas and stuff, But we got to go ahead and give props to him, man. And I thought this was a good one. This one I found this video courtesy of Mario Cavazos on Facebook. So I kind of shared that on my personal Facebook page too. So I'm gonna go and play the audio for you. This one's funny, dude. This is Kane, The Rock, and Hollywood Hulk Hogan. And you know Kane is notoriously this guy that doesn't really talk a lot, right? Doesn't really say a lot of words. But this one, he was going wild, bro. This is a good one.
Rock, ask you something. You ready to go out there and whoop some ass? Ready to go out there and whoop candy ass?
Oh, I'm ready. Are you ready?
Well, you bet your ass I'm.
It doesn't matter if you're ready! Because tonight, The Rock and Kane team up with Hulk Hogan. And you know something, brothers? Whether it's the millions and millions of Rock fans, or 20,000 Hulkamaniacs, or 20,000 screaming Canaanites.
Canaanites?
The question is, brothers, what you gonna do? Scott Hall, Kevin Nash, X-Pac, what you gonna do when Hulk Hogan and The Rock and the Big Red Machine run wild on you? What you gonna do?
Dude, he was going crazy, bro.
Rock and Hogan sold that so well because, like you said, he doesn't talk much, right? And he even when he first came on, he would do the like, I am Kane, you know. So now he just like goes in full mode of Rock and Hogan, and that's classic. Yeah, man. Hey, Sam Salinas tells a pretty good story about his grandfather. He said, "True story. My grandpa was older and poor health, so we couldn't do much when I was a kid. But we had wrestling. I always have love for it because that's what I had with my grandpa.
The
I love that
connection.
story. I love that story, man. And that's that, man. You know, that's what it's all about, man. And Joe and I have talked about this at nauseum. You know, I feel the same way when it comes to boxing or you know, when I was a kid wrestling, you know, even the Spurs, like people are always like, you know, why are you so crazy and passionate about the Spurs or about boxing? I do love those sports, don't get me wrong, but it's deeper than that. It's something that I've been able to share with my sons, you know. I was a teenage father and I've been blessed that, you know, my sons are now in their 20s and we still, you know, share memories and moments of games and boxing matches and wrestling. It's a coming together of a people, you know, it's a coming together of generations of people, you, your grandfather, your father, you know, your
Yeah.
mother, your aunt, your uncle, whoever, and it lives on. You know, one of these days we're all going to be gone and we're all going to be, you know, an afterthought. And my thought is like my sons one day will be doing this with their sons and with their grandkids, you know, and
Yeah.
telling stories of their father, their grandfather, their great grandfather, you know, me saying like, hey, my dad started us in this, you know. So that's why it's deep and passionate. You know, it's not so much the X's and O's of the game or the sport, but
We're gonna play this, man, in honor of the great Hulk Hogan, dude. You remember the intro? We'll play a little bit of it.
oh man.
When it comes crashing down and it hurts inside.
I can't play any more of the song and get in
Bro.
trouble, but we'll let the intro go ahead and play out. But
Bro, that you know what? I ain't gonna lie, bro. That song, I'm not even exaggerating, bro. That song was like literally in my head all day yesterday. And I'm
get
not
you pumped, bro.
exaggerating. Yeah. I'm not lying, bro. It was literally in my head. Hooper Flash is also talking about how he takes his nieces to the WWE events and Spurs
Yeah,
games.
yeah,
Yeah,
dude.
man. It's a family thing, man. It's a family affair. It's an event, and it's something that you can kind of share with each other. But yeah, you know, I'll be honest, man. I'm not up to speed with like the new WWE and like what's going on now and all that. I'll leave that to other experts who know what they're talking about when it comes to that. You know, just like you know, when it comes to boxing, you know, like I feel like I do know what I'm talking about, even though you know people want to throw shade and throw it somewhere else, but that's okay. When it comes to old WWF, you know, I grew up on that, man, and I still watch those
Oh
matches, man.
yeah.
I'm telling you, man, if you have Peacock or man, get Peacock. If you're a wrestling fan, Peacock has every single um SummerSlam, Survivor Series, WrestleMania, Royal Rumble, all the big events, all the matches. Peacock has everything, man. You literally can like, if you're a wrestling fan, you'll go on a rabbit hole on Peacock. Um, Hulk Hogan transcended and transformed the sport of wrestling. You
Yeah, he
know,
did.
if you know about wrestling and you're kind of a historian about wrestling, you remember the old, NWA, AWA, Vern Gagne days.
WCW.
Yeah, exactly. And wrestling was always it was kind of a leg of amateur wrestling, right? Like
Yeah.
technique and holds and all that. So when you look at like old wrestling pre Hulk Hogan, you got guys like Ric Flair, Arn Anderson, Buddy Rogers, very technical wrestlers, right? But Bob Backlund, like mat wrestlers, right? That was really the biggest, the bigger stars of, um, Bruno Sammartino, Pat Patterson, those kind of guys. They were more about the mat wrestling, right? Hulk Hogan was the first one, I think, to he wasn't even a really good mat wrestler. If you know what I mean, he wasn't a good technical wrestler. He was a showman. He was presentation. He was, get the audience involved, right? The big leg drop, the big leg kick, the all that, and so he turned it into what we now know as sports entertainment, what we now know as the WWE. There is no WWE in this day without Hulk Hogan because he was the first one that kind of transformed it into a performance, into an
He's a
art, right?
pop icon, dude, transcending
Yes,
not only
yes,
wrestling but
exactly.
also
Oh yeah,
Hollywood too. He came out in
yeah.
movies.
Yeah. Oh, exactly. He was, yeah, he was in Rocky 3 early in his career. Thunder Lips, right? And all that. So, The Rock has gone on to have enormous Hollywood success. Guys like John Cena and Batista have gone
Yeah,
on and done Cody Rhodes have gone on and done Hollywood films. Hulk Hogan was the first one who crossed the because
yeah,
wrestling before
transcended.
Hulk Hogan, yeah, wrestling before Hulk Hogan was kind of a niche. It was kind of
Yeah,
it was almost like people laughed at you, like, oh, you like wrestling? Like it's fake, like
yeah,
it wasn't as popular it is now. It was almost like it was almost like a guilty pleasure. Like
yeah.
you like, oh, I like wrestling, but I don't want to tell nobody because they're gonna laugh at me.
That makes fun of you. Yeah,
No, yeah, exactly. Because wrestling was kind of a niche sport. Hulk Hogan transformed and transcended into the mainstream, right? He was there with Sylvester Stallone in the Rocky movies, Cyndi Lauper, Ozzy Osbourne, who also
yeah.
rest in peace this week. WrestleMania 3, he was heavily involved in the British fight wrestlers,
Even
British
like
Bulldog, and
Captain
those
Lou
guys.
Albano. Remember, he
Captain Lou
came out in the
Albano,
Cyndi Lauper
yes.
video. Remember?
Yes. Captain Lou Albano. Those early guys, Junkyard Dog, Lou Albano, they were all they had a cartoon. You know what I mean, bro?
Yeah.
You couldn't find a hotter commodity other than Hulkamania and WWF in the 80s and The
Remember, they
Rock
even
and
had the
wrestling.
cereal. Then they had a cereal.
Yeah, exactly,
Yeah.
exactly. Yeah. Exactly. Sam Salinas brings up No Holds Barred, right? With the eventuals Debo, right? We all know him as Debo, but before he was Debo,
Zeus.
he was Zeus and Tiny
Yeah.
Lister, right? Rest in peace, Debo. Jesse A talks about how McMahon changed the game, which is true. That's a very good point. Before back in the day when Vince's father, Vincent, Kennedy or Vincent McMahon Sr., wrestling was all territorial, which is what Jesse A is talking about, right? There, WWF was WWF, which was nothing more than the East Coast or the I'm sorry, the New England territory, like
Yeah.
Connecticut, Boston, Rhode Island, that area. And
Same
then you
area.
had
Yeah.
right, and it was the understood thing. It was an understood thing that everybody's territories were their territories. You had, the Stu Hart, which is Bret Hart's father, and in Canada. You had in the Texas, you had the Von Erichs. You had you had Vern Gagne. You had all these little associations, and Vince McMahon that we know now said, "F that." I want a global takeover. Like I want everything, And he
Yeah.
pissed off a lot of people. Oh, this is the iconic heel turn.
Yeah. Best heel turn in wrestling, man.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, no, this was an iconic moment. That's when he
Yeah.
finally said, "You know what? F the yellow and red. I'm tired of being the
Hmm.
good guy." And then that was it, man.
Yeah.
Then he
Leg drop
became
on Hogan. Yeah.
Hollywood Hogan.
Yeah. You know what's funny is uh yeah, so he comes out and Bobby the Brain Heenan almost ruins it because he's coming out and he's like, well, whose side is he on? And it kind of ruins it a little bit. And I guess in hindsight, you're watching that and like, I mean, they kept talking about a third guy, and he's the only one that comes out. It's almost a given that it's him, but Hogan was such a good guy hero that you wouldn't fathom him siding with the bad guy. So
Yeah.
even though like it's pretty obvious that they kept talking about a third guy and Hogan comes out, people still didn't think it was him, until he dropped the leg on Macho and joined the NWO and changed the world forever. July 26th talks about how McMahon was responsible for creating Hogan. I mean, yes, I think they both needed each other though. Like there's no McMahon without Hogan. There's no Hogan without McMahon. It's almost like Tyson and Don King. People will say, well, was Tyson a creation of Don King and everything he brought up, or was Tyson Tyson, right? So I mean, it brings an interesting point, and I like that comment by July 26th that McMahon is responsible for creating Hogan. He was a creation. McMahon was the mastermind behind the character of because I mean, if you really know old school wrestling, Hulk Hogan used to be Sterling Silver or Sterling Golden and stuff. He had these other heel characters in the early 70s or the late 70s and early 80s of his career where they weren't working. Like he was a bad guy, he really wasn't working. I mean, he went against Andre the Giant 7 years before the iconic WrestleMania 3 match,
Yep.
in Shea Stadium, but those weren't working.
He
Hulk
needed
Hogan
McMahon.
actually, yeah. He needed McMahon, and McMahon needed him. You know what I'm saying? So to me, that's a great combination of a promoter. Because that's what Vince McMahon is a promoter,
Yeah.
and Hogan was the star character that he
The
needed to be.
showman.
Because I'll tell you what, Vince McMahon tried to make other Hulk Hogans, and they didn't
Didn't work.
work.
They didn't have
Lex
the
Luger.
personality that he did.
Right. Lex Luger, for example.
Yeah.
If people want to remember that, right? And I wish our boy John Dyer was on this chat because he knows what I'm talking about. Lex Luger in the 93, 94 era, Vince McMahon tried to make him the next Hulk Hogan, and it didn't work
Didn't work.
because Lex didn't have the personality, didn't have the charisma that a Hulk Hogan had. So to say that McMahon is solely responsible, I have to disagree because he tried to make Luger work. He tried to make the Ultimate Warrior work. The Ultimate Warrior was supposed to be the torch passing between Hogan and the next era of wrestling, WrestleMania 6. If you know, you know, man. That was like crazy. If
Yeah.
WrestleMania 6, Hulk Hogan, Ultimate Warrior, two good guys,
It's
you
craziness,
don't know who
man.
you're going for. This is like,
I was going for
my
the Warrior.
God.
I was going for the
Yeah.
Warrior.
Well, yeah. You know what? I think people our age, because this was 1990. You got to remember. So it was the 90s were new. The 90s were fresh. Warrior was crazy. He was rock and roll, So Hogan represented the 80s and what we thought was old, our parents, it's an interesting look at how you look at things because it was almost like us as teenagers in the 90s were rebelling against everything that was the 80s, everything that was the 70s, right? Ultimate Warrior kind of personified that, right?
Yeah.
He ran down to the ring. He was shaking ropes. He wasn't shaking hands and nothing. He was just beating people
Just
down,
running
He was
straight
just
from the
running
intro all the way
exactly.
down.
Yes,
And then getting
yes.
the ring and then
Yes,
shaking it like
yep.
that and going crazy.
So what's crazy is the Warrior won that WrestleMania 6 match, and it was a passing of the torch. Hogan brought him the belt. It was supposed to be it, but there was just something, and that's a whole nother topic, man. The Jim Hellwig, Ultimate Warrior is the character, but Jim Hellwig is the person. He had some issues, man. A lot of people didn't like him in the locker room apparently back in the day, and he had some problems. And so he was supposed to be the next Hulk Hogan, but if you look at that era, it just didn't pan out. Warrior just it wasn't. he was fun for a short period of time, but he wasn't going to sustain.
Then
So
for
they
the
put the
long haul.
belt back on. Yeah, they put the belt back on Hogan, right? Sergeant Slaughter came in, the Iraqi and American war thing, which was kind of distasteful. Like there was a real
Yeah.
Desert Storm war going on in real life in '91, and Vince McMahon decided to play that out in wrestling with Sergeant
Capitalize.
Slaughter. Yeah, it's
Hey,
crazy,
we got a shout
But
out here. We want to give out
yeah.
shout out to Vanessa Hernandez. She says she's watching on her way to New Orleans. Shout out from Daniel Bautista. They're listening together on the
Oh
listening
man,
together.
Daniel.
And they're
Yeah,
listening to the podcast.
Bautista's
Yeah,
my guy. Daniel Bautista's my man. Hey, have fun in New Orleans. You and Vanessa,
yeah,
man. If you can't have fun in New Orleans, you got a problem. So good. Shout out to you guys. Have a good time.
yeah, man. Definitely. It's good to see
Yeah.
because I remember Daniel. He was saying that he was watching the show and that I guess his wife heard some of the us having a conversation back and forth in the grito and all that, and then she started listening like, what is this?
Yeah, yeah, that's
And
cool,
she
man. That's
liked it
cool.
now.
No,
Yeah,
I met Bautista at Southtown 101 a few years ago, and he's a good people. He's a good dude. So yeah, man, good that him and his lady are listening and on their way to New Orleans, man. Be safe and have a good time out there, man. Try that etouffee. Try to get you some of that good Cajun etouffee. Appreciate you, Jonathan Perez. He says a little wrestling history lesson. He didn't know any of this. I'll tell you, man, I get into the
yeah,
old wrestling, bro. Mario Cavazos was talking about Von Erichs, Bruiser Brody, the Freebirds. Man, those are just some crazy times, man. Those are some
yeah.
good
Legion of
times, man.
Doom, the Rockers.
Yep, yeah, the
That's
Rockers,
and the
yeah.
things that
Mr.
people don't
Perfect,
understand.
Mr. Perfect, Kurt
Yeah,
Hennig, yeah,
and not only that, but if you want to go even older than that, not older, but if you remember these obscure characters like the British Bulldog, Davy Boy
oh
Smith,
yeah, hmm hmm
that
the
that
real
kind of
life, the real
yeah,
life,
man.
the real life brother-in-law of Bret Hart. Like he
Yeah,
married
exactly.
Bret Hart's sister, like real talk, yeah.
Yeah,
And they sold out London in '92 SummerSlam. JC is talking about old school political in-ring stuff like Iron Sheik, Volkov. You know what? The WWE, which was WWF at the time, they never shied away from what was going on and whether it's good or bad, you could call it what you want. They kind of sensationalize what we already knew, right? There's good guys and there's bad guys, right? That the good guys usually win. The bad guys they have their moments, right? They rake the eyes, they do the sneaky stuff, they do all that, and
yeah.
then shout out to PF Chang's La Cantera. Our chat is powered by them.
Yeah.
But the bad guys get their moments, but at the end, the hero prevails.
You
Right,
know
right.
what
The,
the
the
good
All
thing is
American hero
too?
prevails.
Check this out. One thing that goes as far as like the unsung hero and what changed the landscape for the WWF, especially in the 80s, was the introduction of the managers.
Yeah.
And them being able to
Mhm,
affect the
mhm,
outcome of
mhm.
matches, sometimes
Oh,
big
bro.
matches,
Yeah.
that was great. I mean, you remember
Hey,
Brother
listen.
Love,
Oh my God.
Brother
My,
Love
my
show.
favorite, my favorite manager of all time is Bobby the Brain Heenan, bro.
But what about
Bobby
the
the
mouth of the
Brain, your
South,
brother love, mouth of Jimmy Hart is up there. Mr. Fuji. Mr.
Mr.
Fuji
Fuji?
is
Yeah,
underrated, right? And then you had the ladies, right? Sensational Sherry, Miss Elizabeth.
yeah.
You had those people, but it's funny, man. I love how people are talking about guys like Hacksaw Jim Duggan, the Red Rooster, Tatanka, Repo Man. Funny story like Repo Man, and I'm sure this is a well-known
Oh
thing. I'm
shit, I
not
forgot about
Repo
Adam
Man.
Bomb, bro.
Adam Bomb, yeah, Adam Bomb. Repo Man was smashed from Demolition, right? Like he was. You know what's funny is, and this is you can't get away with this nowadays. Paul Bearer, yeah, Paul Bearer is definitely a one of one. What you can't get away with now is how they used to repackage wrestlers, right?
Yeah,
Like they would repackage wrestlers without any explanation, right? Like Repo Man, for instance, right? He was smashed from Demolition, right? Crushed of Demolition, turned into like the Kona Crush guy, but there was never no mention of their past.
yeah,
Colonel Mustafa was the Iron Sheik, right? So there was all these wrestlers that got repackaged, and everyone, acted like they never existed before. Yeah, like Yokozuna wasn't even Japanese, is what Sid's saying, which is true. Yokozuna is part of the the Anoa'i family, Rock, and the
He's
famous,
Samoan.
yeah, he's Samoan, yeah. But
Yeah.
they made these characters, and again, in the 90s, especially, anybody who was foreign was bad, right? The Japanese guys were bad, right? The Orient Express,
Yeah.
Yokozuna, Fuji, if because you had to have a very clear cut good guy and bad guy. Like, because that's how life is. Like, and I talk about this a lot, where I say this in kind of in jest, because life isn't like that. There's not just good guys and bad guys. Like, good people do bad things and bad people do good things, right? But
Yeah.
WWF kind of gave you this wholesome feeling of there's good and then there's bad, and the bad uh does their thing, but eventually the good prevails and we all go home happy. And then you know you got anti-hero characters like Sith is talking about, like Stone Cold, like The Rock. We grew out of that good guy versus bad guy era, and Vince McMahon was smart about that, right? Yeah, Jason is saying babyface versus heel. Vince McMahon, when he went into the Attitude Era, he saw that the anti-hero is what people want to see, right?
Yeah.
So no one cares no more about good versus bad. Stone Cold is a good example of it. He was a bad guy, but everybody loved him. Razor Ramon, right, was literally the bad guy, but everybody loved him, right? People start liking and gearing towards the bad guy, and I think that's a microcosm of our society, where it's exactly my point. There's no good versus bad. Like, people get on this moral high ground and they try to act like they're holier than thou and that they're
Yeah.
perfect. That's not the case, bro.
It was just
People are
entertainment,
good,
man.
people are bad, and people are intertwined.
Yeah, it's entertainment. That's all it was. At the end of the day, it was just entertainment, selling storylines. I think that's what actually made wrestling come into the mainstream. Going back from the '80s era where we were growing up with it, watching it as kids,
Yeah.
then getting older and coming into that Attitude Era, it still stayed almost the same, except the difference was the storylines, the production got better,
Hmm.
all that kind of stuff. It became like a novela, that you're watching, with all the drama and pageantry and all that stuff going on out there. And it was entertainment. That's all it was.
Hmm.
WWE
Hmm.
entertainment, right? They always say
Hmm.
that it's entertainment, and
Yeah.
that's what the good guy, bad guy, whatever it was.
Hmm.
It was just
Hmm.
out there to entertain, earn a check, and appease the fans, and it was a multi-billion-dollar industry, and it still is. Another thing that I used
Yeah.
to love watching would be like some of the older wrestlers, like you would see Jake the Snake, which I met
Hmm.
over here in the hood when I was a kid at my
Nice.
local Valero, because he's out there buying beer. I was like, I saw this big old guy in front of me buying a 6-pack of beer, and then I look, like, this dude kind of looks familiar from the hair and everything.
Wow.
And then I
Yeah,
remember
yeah.
looking out,
That's a
to
cool
my
story.
right and
Yeah,
looking at
yeah.
the gas station, right, the gas
Yeah.
pumps, and there was a van, and the van said Jake the Snake,
Wow.
and then I looked at him and I'm like, "Hey, you're Jake the Snake," and he goes, "What's up, kid?" I told him, you're my favorite wrestler. He goes, "Right on, brother." He just took off,
Yeah.
with his beer. He just said bye or whatever, and I was like, "Yeah, that's pretty cool." Met Jake the Snake.
Jake the Snake was the kind of guy who, he never held a belt. He, if
No,
you look back in the annals of wrestling, Jake the Snake never had an intercontinental title and a world title. He was close, he would battle some of those guys. He had fights with the Honky Tonk Man and Million Dollar Man and all those kind of guys. But if you look back in the annals of history, Jake the Snake never had a belt.
but he had some iconic moments, man.
Yeah,
Remember
yeah,
when
no,
he
no,
had the
no,
Macho
no.
Man at
Yeah,
that
yeah, no,
pay-per-view
no,
event,
no.
bro?
Yeah, yeah, exactly. No, the point I'm trying to make is he didn't need a belt. He didn't need a belt, bro. It was like Andre the Giant, bro. There's certain characters, Hacksaw Jim Duggan. They didn't need belts. Like they were what they were on, just with their own persona and their
Yeah,
own bravado, So when Jake the Snake, yeah, yeah. He had
Damien.
Damien was one of the snakes, but then when he was a bad guy, he had Lucifer, right? And
Yeah,
Lucifer was the one that bit into Macho Man's
Macho
arm,
Man.
and just, Elizabeth was out there, and bro, listen, bro, as a young kid, bro, that's pretty traumatizing. Like that's
Graphic.
pretty traumatizing. Yeah, that's pretty graphic, Um, and yeah, like Sam Selena says, what happened was Jake then turned because Jake had real life alcohol problems, like in real
Oh,
life. You know what I'm saying? He had
drugs and
real life
everything.
alcohol
Yeah,
problems. Yeah,
bro.
and Jerry Lawler and WWE were playing on that. We're actually like playing on him being an alcoholic. So then he like turned to Christ and all that kind of stuff. And that's neither here nor there for me, but whatever. But the iconic Austin 316, as Sam Salinas is pointing out, came out of that. He came out of
Yeah.
the he said, you talk about your Psalms, you talk about whatever. Austin 316 just said I whooped your ass, and it launched a phenomenon. So, and that's how things happen. Like these, I don't, I know Vince McMahon and the creative team have, a lot of say and a lot of things that go on, but um I think sometimes things happen in the moment. You know what I mean? Like kind of they just kind of happen on the fly. It's like even like movies and TV shows where there's times where actors just start improvise and everybody's like, "Oh damn, like hell yeah, let's put that in," right? So yeah, man, it's wrestling is interesting, man. There's a lot of facets to it, And like I said, I'm more of an old school guy. I'm not really up to the new stuff. But all that old stuff paved the way to what we know now, and I
Yeah.
think the point we were trying to make, Joe, is there's no WWE today as you know it without Hulk Hogan.
Hulk
I mean, he
Hogan.
was, yeah, there just isn't, man. And
Even
yeah,
going
like
to the WWE event last week that I went to last Friday with my son, my oldest, right? Because that's one thing that we shared. We have a passion for combat sports. He loves watching boxing because that's
mhm,
how I raised him. We watch boxing, we watch wrestling, MMA fights. We used to watch UFC and MMA stuff like that before it was a thing. It was UFC, but it wasn't mainstream yet.
mhm, mhm,
It hadn't
mhm,
caught on yet, and we would watch it back then. And now coming full circle and watching this WWE SmackDown event with my oldest son, and he's just there watching like in awe of everything because now it's a big pageantry kind of thing, because they got the lasers and everything,
mhm,
the stage, the lighting, all that stuff, the big ass boards that they got back there, the HD screens is what I'm talking about. When they're coming out, the
mhm,
pyrotechnics, all that kind of stuff. And and I was thinking about it, looking at it, and I was like, man, you would have told me when I was a little kid, back in the 80s, sitting down, in that my grandma's small living room with my cousins and
mhm,
stuff, be like, hey, this is what it's gonna evolve to. I wouldn't have believed you. I was just
mhm.
happy watching what was out there, which the
Yeah,
focus wasn't all this other stuff, the things that catch your eye. It was just the basic thing, a good storyline, good versus bad, and the charisma that some of these wrestlers had out there. And that was enough for you as a kid. That's all you needed. And at the end of the day, when you strip down everything, you take away all the eye candy and you take away the lasers and the big screens and all that kind of stuff, at the core, it's still that same thing. It brings you that same feeling that you had as a child.
yeah,
It's just that the storyline, the good versus the bad, the good guy versus the bad guy. Even though it looks a lot better, it's still the same thing at the core, but it's
mm,
evolved, so it's
mhm,
like full circle there, just watching it with my son, just enjoying it. It was a good time, and I'll go to another one if they have it. We're talking about maybe going to WrestleMania that's going to be in Vegas,
mm.
so I was telling him, he's like, I
That'd be
want to go to
fun.
WrestleMania. So I'm
That'd
like,
be
all right,
fun. Yeah.
we'll see what I can
Mm.
do. Let's make it happen,
Yeah.
because I mean, I still got some time to plan it out, but the tickets,
Yeah.
they ain't cheap, you know?
Mm-mm.
And I
Mm-mm.
told him if I'm gonna go and I want good seats, man. I ain't gonna be,
Yeah.
oh, I just want to go there just to be in the crowd. No,
Yeah.
bro.
Yeah.
No,
Yeah. Yeah.
those days are over. If we're gonna go, we're gonna go,
Hmm.
Yeah.
No, I
So
agree, bro. No, you're right. You're right, man. It's a good time. Um, like I said, I'm not too into it nowadays. I'll be honest. I don't. But going to it in Vegas and live, that would be fun. Um, I know Sith and a couple of folks, Mario, are talking about WCW, and like Sith talked about Cena and the Bin Laden thing. Yeah, that's funny because Cena, you thought Cena was like a war, like a
took them
Marine,
out.
like he was in the movie. Yeah, exactly, right. So yeah, he was like in a Marine. He was like a Marine. So you know what? I would have watched WCW as a kid, And again, I guess we got a preference of because when people say like they watch it as a kid, they might be younger than I am or older. So
Yeah.
there's a different era and genre. So it's hard to say things like that. Like, oh, when I watch it as a kid, well, some of y'all watch it as a kid like 2 years ago. Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I watched it as a kid like a while back. So, yeah, like you had Sting, you had the Steiners, you had those folks. I always thought WCW was like a second-rate WWF. You know, it just always seemed kind of a knockoff brand of WWF. But what changed that was the Monday Night Wars, Eric Bischoff, NWO. You know, that solidified WCW. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That solidified like, hey, um, WCW is here, and it was a lull time for the WWF. It was the new generation era in WWF, like the 95, 96, 97, which was garbage. It was crap, man, So it was a perfect time for Eric Bischoff and WCW to strike and do NWO and
Yeah.
all that. And it was cool, but then they started making it just it was oversaturated, right? Everybody became NWO, and it was cool in the beginning, but after a couple of years I was like, all right, this ain't cool no more. And then the rise of the Attitude Era came into the WWF with Stone Cold, with
The Rock and
The
everybody
Rock
else.
and all those guys, and like people talked about earlier too, where again we were talking about character changes. Kane, had multiple characters. Actually, he was
The
Dr.
dentist.
Isaac Yankem, DDS, dentist. He was the fake Diesel when
Yeah.
they had the fake Diesel Razor Ramon characters. So Kane was saddled with some pretty crappy characters that could have put him out of the business. So luckily he became Kane and everything worked itself out. But I mean, even like Kevin Nash, if you know about old school WCW, he was like the Oz in WCW. He had all these other Master Blaster, get all these other gimmicks, and then when he came to WWF, became Big Daddy Cool Diesel. That's what really sparked him.
Hey
Razor
man,
Ramon.
people don't give Kurt Angle the credit he deserves sometimes, bro. I remember one match in particular I was watching. It was a pay-per-view between him and Shane O'Mac.
Hmm.
And that was one for the record books, bro. Both these guys, they done jacked each
Hmm.
other up, man. And then what happened is that Shane O'Mac was supposed to pick up Kurt Angle and throw him through the board, through the glass,
Yeah,
right?
yeah,
Break it. Damn thing wouldn't break, bro. And
yeah.
Kurt Angle broke his tailbone and he couldn't move. And he was just telling him, throw
Hmm.
me, throw me.
Hmm.
And he's like, again. And they were
Yeah, yeah.
exhausted, dude. He was just throwing him. And finally he broke through. And they were just like, yeah, dude, they were done,
Yeah.
at the end of that match. But I
Hmm.
remember stuff like that because even Shane O'Mac, back in the day when he was doing his thing, I still remember him getting hit like a piñata at Backlash,
Hmm.
with
Yeah,
the katana, that bow stick. He was way up there on
yeah.
that freaking thing that they had hanging,
Yeah, yeah.
and they were just hitting him like that. And he fell like maybe 30, 40 feet all the way
Hmm.
down. It's like, man, he's gonna
Yeah.
die, dude. He went through a table, multiple tables, and hit the ground. I was like, damn, man.
Yeah. You
Like
know
that,
what?
those are some matches,
Yeah, yeah. You know what's crazy is well, so one thing is Kurt. We're talking about Kurt Angle. He was an actual Olympic wrestler.
Big
Like I want
wrestler,
to say
yeah.
'96 in Atlanta, if I'm not mistaken,
Yeah.
gold medalist. Like he's legit. Like he's a legit wrestler. So that was interesting. Shane McMahon. If you watch the old Royal Rumbles, like I'm talking 1989, 1990. He's one of the referees on the ground. Like if you're
Yeah.
or if you remember like Royal Rumble and Survivor Series where there's referees on the ground just to tell people like to go back to where they got to go. Um, Hell, even in WrestleMania 8, where it was like Flair versus Macho Man, and
Yeah.
Elizabeth is coming down, and there's all these officials trying to hold her back.
Yeah.
If I'm telling you, bro, rewatch those, and Shane McMahon is one of those officials. Like he cut his teeth as a referee, and he
Yeah.
he did a bunch of other stuff before becoming Shane O'Mac, like in character, because I think his dad was like, hey, you need to learn this business. That's one thing I'll say, man. People can you know, I know a lot of people criticize Hulk Hogan about his you know, racist comments and things like that, and whatever. Um, Vince McMahon also has a checkered past. I mean, and that's an understatement, but when you talk about building an empire and building a company, man, and doing things he- that entertain us, like I don't. It's hard for me for people to say like, "Hey, I'm a wrestling fan right now," and then they're like, "But I don't like Vince McMahon and I don't like Hulk Hogan for their personal decisions." But these
Yeah.
guys also are the ones that paved the way and brought what you like now. You know what I mean? Like, I'm not saying you have to agree with what they do, but like, it's kind of tough to you know, to negate what they've done. You know what I mean? And yeah, and Hanover Fist says it's crazy that I mean, Stephanie McMahon, I guess, is still technically involved because he's saying
Yeah.
that
Her and her husband.
her and her husband Triple H, right? Which is also an interesting story. You know, Hunter Hearst Helmsley, the blue blood, right?
Yeah.
When he first came into the rest, he was terrorizing in WCW, which is he also had his fair share of crappy gimmicks coming up. Hunter Hearst Helmsley came into the WF. He was like a mid card guy. He was facing Henry Godwin and Goldust, but now he has ascended to the top of the WC or WWF WWE reigns. um and it is kind of sad to see that McMahon built this from scratch and to be pushed out, but that's kind of indicative of what this country is. You do all these good things, and then people find out about your flawed background or what you do behind closed
Mistakes, dude.
doors or whatever.
Man.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
then everybody that's holier than thou and everybody that has this moral high ground kind of tries to push you out. You know
And
what
look
I'm
at
saying?
Sith was
So
saying about this too. He's saying, "You all remember the unmasking of Rey Mysterio?" Yeah, I said, "Yeah, I thought that was the
mhm,
brother under the mask. Look at how young he
yeah,
was back then,
yeah,
dude.
yeah.
Like,
And of
damn."
course, Sith is saying separate the character from the band. Exactly.
Mhm.
That's my point. That's the point I'm trying to make. But you can't have one without the other. You can't have the character without the man. You can't have the man without the character. People, you know, I don't know, man. And I'm not trying to go on a rabbit hole here, but the Hulk Hogan thing kind of brought out a lot of stuff where there was people celebrating his death. There was people that were like, "I'm glad he died. He's a racist." Um, that's it's kind of horrible, man. That's kind of horrible, to kind of say. But people, again, like I said, they stand on this moral high ground and they look at people and just judge their. I'm glad people don't judge me on just the wrong things that I've done, or I'm glad that people don't have a mic when I'm behind closed doors and advertise everything I say behind closed doors and everything I do behind, because that's just people again, like I said, they sit on this moral high ground and they've judged people, and we all got our own skeletons, man. We all got our own
Yeah.
things that we deal with. You know what I'm saying? So it's just tough, man. And you look down through history, right? JFK is one of our greatest presidents ever. He was a womanizer. He drank. He did all these bad things. But you can't get one without the other, man. Like that's all I'm saying, man. And,
Yeah.
and and it's just crazy how people are so quick to judge people's
Yeah.
character when they're not there. You know?
I just want to give a quick shout out to our friend Jason Garcia, who's watching over in Portland. He sent us a picture via the media share. He's just chilling, man. He's got his 2-0 Alliance, jersey that he's wearing
Oh
representing
yeah.
SAFC.
Oh
He
yeah.
got the Spurs rings on there representing the championships and the flying chanclas cap, for the San
I love
Antonio
it.
Mission. So he's all
I love it.
booted up right now, bro.
Yeah. I love it.
Shout
Bro,
out
you
to you.
don't get it.
Speaking
You
of,
can't get no more poodle than that.
yeah, man. And the other thing is we got another picture that came in from the media share here. And it's from our friends over at the tailgate. They'll be out there 2-0 Alliance, doing their thing. And again, it's going to be this Saturday, July 26th, under the bridge. They got food and drinks from 5 p.m. all the way up to 7:30 p.m. and free parking 90 minutes prior to kickoff. Go out there, say hi, man. Enjoy a great time with these guys. Like I said, they got free food, they got free beer. And also it's good to just hang around and make friends, go and, like say hi to everybody, do the rounds, and you're gonna meet good people, man. And they get puro, they're the necios, dude. They get really necio out there in the necio
Man,
bunker, man. It's fun. It's fun.
listen. If you've never been out to one of these tailgates with the Necios and all our gente, you are missing out. You are missing out. You know, it's family friendly. There's kids. There's it's affordable. The food and drinks are all covered by the Necios and by Alamo Beer Company. All they ask is for tips, which is you should. Can't fault.
Yeah,
You
man.
can't fault for that. Um,
Should put 20 there at least, bro. Come
Yeah,
on.
Steph and I, yeah, yeah, you'd buy a beer for at an event, another event for 20 bucks.
$20, bro.
So yeah,
Yeah.
you throw 20 and then you eat and you drink and you have a good time 2 hours prior to the game. And Steph and I have been to a lot of those tailgates, and I'm telling you, man, it's a good time. And
Yeah.
there's a lot of Spurs fans. Spurs and SAFC kind of cross, so you meet a lot of folks from Twitter and all that. You're not gonna be disappointed if you go to one of these tailgates and you get to hang out with the Necios. And like I said, it's also a pretty affordable uh
Family entertainment, dude.
family entertainment. Yeah, exactly. The tickets are cheap. I'm not a soccer fan either. Like I'll be honest, I'm be 100. Like I don't know anything about soccer. I'm not a soccer guy, but you don't got to be a soccer guy to go out there and have a good time. Like it's
It
fun,
says he
it's a good
doesn't know anything
time.
about it. You just
Right,
say
yeah, yeah,
goal
yeah.
when you kick the
Yeah,
with the
yeah,
ball
yeah,
goes into
exactly.
the
I don't
goal.
either. I really don't. I'm not a soccer guy. I'm not pretending to be, but guys like Matt Gomez and all these other folks do really good things out there, man. And Jason Garcia. Um, it's a good time, man. And like I said, man, if you should go out there. You should go out there. Like I said, if anything, it's a cheap good time, it's a cheap good time. So yeah, man, it's I highly recommend it. When I'm back in town and there's games, I definitely try to make it out there. So
Hey, another thing we're gonna do too is we're gonna go ahead and kind of transition here because we're getting closer to winding down the show, but we want to go ahead and go down memory lane. This is something that's near and dear to me and Rick Sard. We are talking about it with Unesios yesterday, and I felt that it was so good we had to come out here and talk about it a second day. So without further ado, we're gonna go ahead and go down a little bit of memory lane here. And what was it like cruising down San Anto on a Sunday night? And this is the old video, bro. Four fine ass chicks. Ahí
man,
están las ratas, bro.
bro, you're bringing me back to my baby
Ooh, I
making
thought that was
days,
you with the
man.
white shirt, bro. That brother had
Hey,
the
hey,
chain. I was like, hey.
I have to double check. It might be me, dog. Like, yeah.
I was like, is that you, Rick, with the gold chain hanging on, bro? Like,
Bro, I had to do a double take because it might have
yeah.
been me. Because some of those ladies look familiar, bro. You know, they're all tias now and shit.
Oh
But
yeah, bro. But that's what it was like, bro. You
yeah,
just pull over to the side of the road. You have your jams kicking back, kicking back there. You just had your jams going on. Everybody's just hanging out, mingling. You go up to the girl, hey, what's your name, man? Can I get your number? Trying to throw the Mac. There you go.
man. And this is for some of us that are in this age group, which a
Yeah,
lot of
bro.
folks are. Um, Sundays was Sam says some of them are abuelitas now. That's true.
True.
Sundays we're cruising down Brack, cruising down Rosedale, cruising down Military. Um, you know, when I was a kid, when I was really young, my brother, I have one brother. He's unfortunately he's been in prison for the last 30 years. But when I was a kid, my brother started me in he would cruise with Suavecito Car Club, right? And,
Yeah.
and there's car clubs that if you know, bro. I'm talking old school, bro. Suavecito, Sueños, Unlimited Dreams, those kind of clubs that were out there. Um, and so I would cruise with my brother with Unlimited Dreams and Suavecito, and he had the Cavalier, little Teal Cavalier with the hydraulics, all that. So we would cruise down Military, down Marbach. They used to give those curfew violations. You remember that back in the day? They would give curfew violations, bro. Cops would come and stop and ask who was old and with your ID and all that. So you would get like a curfew violation, right? So I used to get those back in the day, and then I ended up getting my own a ride, and it was a convertible Cavalier, white, white walls, Luxor rims, chain steering wheel, you know, car seat in the back, little baby car seat and shit, right? Because I was a father as a teenager. But those are some crazy times, man. And like I said, if anybody knows, they know, man, about, you had the plaques, you had the stickers in your back windshield. Like I said, bro, Suavecito, Sueños, Unlimited Dreams. So many car clubs that were out there. And they were legit, bro. Like they had like a president and a treasurer and like all this stuff,
Oh
So,
yeah.
you
It
know,
said you had the name. You had your name in the
yeah.
back of the car, the truck, and in calligraphy with the sticker from the car club y todo,
Yeah,
bro.
yeah,
Remember?
yeah, 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 yeah.
And I
So,
was telling
you
you,
would
remember?
cruise down military, and it's
Yeah.
crazy because now, bro, we would be like, bro, I ain't wasting my gas. Like, I ain't wasting my
No, no,
gas
no,
driving up
not
and
at all.
down, bro. Nowadays, that was when gas was like $1, a gallon.
Yeah,
So,
yeah. That was way back when. But I was telling you, man, one of the things is we had this thing, we had this grade that we used to go ahead and gauge your cassette tapes by, right? When we're talking about
oh
mixtape.
man, yep.
So this was the top tier of your mixtape. You saw
Woo!
this motherfucker. You know that shit was gonna be fire, bro.
Yeah,
Remember the Memorex?
bro. Let me tell you something. That Memorex, that yellow, blue, and pink cassette, it was like
Yeah,
clear. I saved that for my best
top tier.
cassettes, like my top. Yeah, that was like it was like a ranking system. You know what I mean?
Yes,
Like
sir.
that was
Yep.
like the best, bro. And if you remember, bro, the struggle, you had to push play and record on
On the radio.
KTFM or whatever you were listening to try to record your song. And then you had it played and then your cassette, and then you bumped it in your ride. You had the amps and the woofers and all that, right?
Yeah.
But no, bro, there was a ranking system, and that cassette right there that you're showing, that was only saved for the best.
Hell yeah. And you still remember because I was telling you, like you had other mixtapes, and those
Hmm.
would just be the regular black label, right? The
Hell
little
yeah,
black
that was
black
yeah,
one. Yes, like
mm,
it's all right. See, it
yeah,
breaks or it gets caught in the player. No big deal, bro. It's you got another copy somewhere. But this
yeah.
was like for the top tier, like the best of the best.
Hmm.
The
Hmm.
bangers. They went on this son
Yeah,
of a bitch right there.
yeah.
You know?
Mark Cavasso says, remember trying to record them and then the DJ talking. Exactly, bro. It was like, come on, bro. Like, yeah, KTFM 96.1, bro. Like, bro, I remember all that stuff, bro. Hey, I'm not trying to tell a tall tale like Jimenez, but I was on KTFM back in the day as a really young kid. It was like they used to do this show called like it was like yes or no, like do you want this song, do you not want this song? But they
Yeah.
would call it Simon and Chale. Like they were like
Yeah.
Simon, yes, and Chale, no.
No.
Um,
Yeah.
I called the radio station one time, right? And I was probably like 13 years old, bro. And they were doing this bit like it was Joey D and KTFM, if
Yeah.
any of y'all remember that. And they were doing this bit where they would play a new song and they would say, um, do you like it? Yes, or do you like it? No. And people would call and they would say whatever. I called one time and I was like, hey, bro, that song is a chale, bro. He's like, well, what does that mean? I'm like, chale means fuck no, that shit sucks. And I go, if you had a good song, bro, it would be Simon. I go, actually, what you should do is have a segment, Simon and Chale. Like, and he was like, you want to do it? I was like, yeah. And so it was like, hey, this is lazy. It's time for Simon and Chale. Here's that gringo culero who no sabe que estoy hablando, Joey D. And it would just roll.
Yeah.
And it was a thing, bro. And I wish, bro, I used to have it recorded on one of those Miramaxes, but maybe I wonder if I can reach out to radio station into their archives because I would really love to hear that.
There's some of the
But
logos, bro.
real
Remember from
talk,
back in
bro.
the day,
Yeah,
bro.
yeah,
Remember that? That was the old G one right
yeah,
there.
yeah.
102.7 right there. That's
Yeah,
how it used to
yeah,
look.
yeah. It
Remember?
was like a kiss or diss or whatever it used to be.
Yeah.
Sam's right. Whatever it used to be. But I literally used to voice over the Simone and Chale segment, and I did that for a while, bro. I did that like all my high school years, and I should have stayed with it. Maybe I could have been a radio personality or something, but I didn't really think about it at the time. But we recorded this segment where I would say Simone if it was good, I would say Chale if it was bad, and we would just do this whole bit and like broads would call, dude, and be like, "Hey, I want to know who that dude Lazy is from Simone and Chale." And I was like, "Shit, give him my number. Like, what's up?"
Yeah.
Man, I need to go find those bits because yeah,
Look at
it
Mario
was a thing.
Cavazos. He's asking, did you record Kid Frost on them
Oh, bro,
cassettes?
La
Oh my
Raza, bro. Kid
God,
Frost,
bro.
La Raza was OG, bro. Kid Frost,
Damn it.
you know what? I like Kid Frost. You know, I fucked with Kid Frost, but he was Cali. You know, he was LA. This was obviously before I came to LA, so That's why I was more. You know, I would gear more towards like little Capone and SPN because they were Texas. You know what I mean? I was trying. Texas was coming up in like Chicano rap back then. You know, so
Yeah.
but Frost is a Godfather. You know, Frost is the OG Godfather. But he was Cali, he was LA, which is what I was not about before I joined the Marine Corps and came out to Cali. But so that's why you know, I definitely fucked with Capone and SPN because they were Texas boys. You know.
And back in the day too, we got to go ahead and show this, man. You don't have to complete your look, right? The gold chain, y todo,
Oh,
bro. You had
bro,
to have the
yeah.
pager, bro. Yes, sabes. You had the black pager. Remember you were telling me you wanted to
Yeah.
go gangster, the black one?
Yeah, you know what? The colored pagers were kind of like okay, you kind of moved up in the world. They were kind of like that day's version of like you're a hipster. The old school black motor, the old black dog, just
Yeah.
black dog was you were a G dog. You were a G. You know,
And then they
so
had the color ones, like we're talking about the
yeah,
blues and the
yeah. The
greens and
blues
the
and the
clear
greens
one,
and like I feel like a lot of the females had the like color ones, you know,
the
because they
pink
were
one.
cute.
Yeah.
Yeah, they were cute. They were pink, you know. But no, yeah, that one right there, that black with the kind of like silver in the middle.
Yeah.
Yeah, like 1, 2, 3, 4. The fourth one on the second row that we're looking at, that was
Yeah.
like OG, bro. That was it had the little clip, you know, the little hard ass clip, you know. Yeah, that was gangster.
Those are the ones we used
Yeah,
to rock
you know
back
what?
in the
I
day.
told my son, I was like, can you imagine getting a message on a little box, having to go put a quarter into another phone, and then calling that person, you know, instead of just texting or damn,
Yeah.
like these, bro. My God, dude, I never thought I'd be that old man that was like, you know, yell at clouds. But these kids don't know how good they have it, bro. These kids don't
Yeah,
know how good they
they could do
have it.
everything on the
You
phone
know.
nowadays.
Oh,
Remember, look at
bro,
that. We used to get the
Mario
text
Cavazos
message.
is Mario Cavazos is bringing back Summer Jam, bro. Summer
Remember
Jam is
that?
why I was a 14-year-old father, dog. Like, you know what I'm saying? Summer Jam is why I became a father at 14, son. Like, yeah, it was at the Missions baseball field, Summer Jam. And hey,
Uh-huh.
they were banging, bro. Little Susie, Johnny Z.
They would come and play a
Oh
couple
my
sets, a
God,
couple
bro.
songs. Yeah, they would
Yeah,
leave, you
yeah.
know.
But you know what though? But bro, it was like $10, dog. You know, back then, like
Oh,
it was
yeah.
it's crazy,
But
bro.
it
Like
was hot
Summer
out
Jam
there,
was a
bro. You were
vibe.
there, you were just
Yeah,
steaming out, dude. It
yeah,
was the
yeah. Summer
pavement was
Jam was a
hot,
vibe.
man.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was. But you know what's crazy, bro? I feel like we didn't give a fuck back then, bro. We
No,
didn't we didn't because we didn't know no better. We didn't know
we're
no better.
built
See
different.
that that's what I think now. I would even use myself as an example. You know, I'll tell you what, bro. I'm poodle through and through, bro. You know I am, bro. Everybody knows I am, right? But let me tell you something, bro. I've been in SoCal for 10 years. And this weather is beautiful. You know, everything's, you know, amazing out here. It's tough for me to go back in the summer to San Antonio, dog. I'm being real. I'm being honest, dog. You could give me some backlash. Oh,
Yeah.
the Red Wings with the Dooney duck
And
little
Burke.
gold emblem. Yeah, 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 exactly. In the laces. I'm telling you, bro. So when I was younger, you just don't know any better. I have no other reference. So to me, sweating my ass off in the Wolf Stadium for Summer Jam, sweating my ass off at Fiesta, I have no other reference other than this is just what we do here. You know, now that I've
Yeah.
been to SoCal and I lived in on the beach, like I'm like, oh, F that, you know, like goddamn, bro. So it's all a matter of perspective. But bro, the Red Wings with the Dooney and the laces, that was it.
I got something
That
for
was
you ass
it.
too here, man.
And
Check this out.
the Jerbodes, the
Yeah, no,
Jerbodes.
no, 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 no jabos, bro. Pero ya sabes, y'all motherfuckers be rocking these freaking overalls. The guest overalls.
Bro. I'll rock them like not clipped up though, like hanging down, bro.
Yeah, get down.
Hanging down, bro. Yeah, or like backwards, like crisscross, dog. You remember that
Oh
shit?
my
You remember
god, dude.
crisscross or working the backwards shit? Yeah, hell
Yeah,
yeah.
like look like Will Smith right there from
Yep.
back in the day.
Exactly. Tony
Fresh
Renales is
Prince
talking
style.
about club image. You already know, bro. You already know. Damn, bro.
No,
You know
hombre,
what's
bro.
and this is what I thought was cool about y'all show yesterday was all this nostalgia. Man, in this day and age, we have so much negativity in this world, bro. From politics to simple Spurs Twitter, like all these things, like there's no need for all this negativity and all this being at each other's throats and throwing shade at each other and talking shit about your girl and talking shit about this and that. Like, there's no need for this. But we all have egos and we all have these things going on. And unfortunately, there's so much negativity out here. I think it's fun when we start talking about nostalgia. And like you guys, Joe and Mike yesterday were talking about old music. And today we're talking about cruising down military. And even though we had problems back then, I'm not trying to act like we didn't. It was just, and I sound like my grandfather, right now, but it was a different time. And it just seemed less complicated,
You remember the image shots too that were
Oh, bro. Oh my God. Bro,
oh
my
shit, bro.
ex-wife and I, who is still a really good friend of mine, and we have a really good relationship.
No.
I was on the wall in the image shots with my ex-wife. I'm not even bullshitting you, bro. 13, 14 years old, dude. The cholo hat, the suspenders. She had the dark makeup, the puro pinche sad girl, bro. I was on the wall at Ingram in the image shots. But no, man, I think that's what gets people excited or gets people feeling good about when we start talking about those times, because it was a simpler time. It seemed like a simpler time, and every generation says that, right? Our parents said the same thing. They probably said, hey, in the 80s and the 70s things were more simple, in the 60s, whatever, right? We're looking at the 90s and the early 2000s and saying like things were
No,
simpler, man.
bro.
Nowadays everything's we're so divided. We're so everybody. You're a Republican, you're a Democrat, you this, you're that. Your Spurs Twitter has their own factions and groups and who
Oh
they group
man.
with, and if the group doesn't like you, then none of us like you. There's all this mean girl stuff, and it's crazy. So I think when we start talking about this nostalgia, it makes people go back to a simpler time,
That's how I
and
envision you, bro, from back in the day. You seen that, dude.
oh man, yeah, yeah. I win. You know what, man? I gotta dig up those
Oh,
photos. I gotta dig up my photos.
the
Um,
glamour shot,
I
bro.
gotta, yep,
Cabrón.
glamour shots and image shots. I
You
gotta
remember the
dig
guys
up
were always
those.
there taking the pictures with their boo, with
Yeah,
the
yeah, yeah,
boa
yeah.
y
Oh
todo.
well, that's
No,
that's
man.
that's when you knew. That's like this version of like making it Twitter official or Instagram official,
Yeah.
or whatever, right? So like nowadays we have social media, right? So in social media, when you make it official that you're with your girl or whatever, you post her, right? You put her
This
on
was the
fish.
glamour
This was
shot.
the original posting. Like if you took a girl to image or
Oh
glamour shots,
man, dude.
you were solidifying that, hey, you're my girl, baby girl. So um man, yeah, that's
Con la Neo, you remember the freaking the ring with the chain y todo eso
yeah,
también?
James Avery, bro, all that shit, dog. Like, you know, man, those are good times. Those are good times. Um,
Jimenez did put a picture of himself up from when he was in high school one time, dude. We'll have to ask him to do
Peach,
another one.
Peach Holmes High School.
Pinche Holmes High School. He was still all clean cut back then, con la
Ah,
polo y
bro, he
todo.
was. Come on, bro.
No,
Hey, no,
bro,
no,
come
you know
on.
what? Hey, listen, bro. Hey, you know what? I love Jimenez, man. Jimenez is my guy. Um, if I didn't know him, I probably wouldn't like him. Like if I didn't know him personally, I would not like him because he's a character. But Jimenez is my guy. And I don't say this to disrespect him, but he wasn't down or a
Man, you
G
weren't
in high school, bro. He wasn't,
you're
bro.
right.
That's
It's all
okay.
right you
There's
weren't.
nothing
It's
wrong with
okay
that.
you were
Yeah, there's
not.
nothing wrong with that, bro. Nothing wrong with that, bro. don't get it twisted, dog. This dude wasn't no G or wasn't
He
down, and
wasn't
and
about
that's
that life,
okay.
bro.
He wasn't. He wasn't. And it's okay. Nothing wrong with that, bro. Don't worry. Nothing wrong with that, bro. I mean, shit. I wish I didn't have to grow up as hard as I did. You know what I mean? I wish I wasn't you know, drinking and doing drugs at 12 years old, dog. Like I wish I wasn't a father at 14, dog. Like, sometimes I do, but then again, look back and I say I don't wish that because you don't get to where you are without all those trials and tribulations. You know what I mean? And people in our chat can kind of understand that. A lot of us come from tough upbringings and we are who we are
Like
now because
Mario
of all those
Cavazos is
hard.
sharing a picture of himself, man, from
There you
I
go.
believe it was Edgewood from back in the day, dude.
There you go. There you go.
I was like,
See,
damn
you know
it.
what? I think we got to do a segment where we all throw old school pictures of ourselves because we remind ourselves where we came from and how far we've gone. We've all made it. We've all whether and making it is your own there's your own definition, right? It's not about money, it's not about status. It's not about like if you raised a good family and you're a good husband and a good father, then you made it. You know what I mean? If you've been a good mother to your kids, you've made it. So there's a lot of ways to make it. So I think that's a cool picture from Mario. JHNSB is asking who has better Mexican rap, Texas or Cali? That's a good question. I think Cali has more deep rooted Mexican rap, with Frost and a bunch of different, Cali's Cali, man. It's almost like any kind of rap, Mexican, black. A lot of things start out in LA. A lot of things start out there, bro. The what I've learned is like things start in the coast, LA, New York, right, and then they gravitate towards the middle, right, and Texas is in the middle. So, I'm not trying to sound blasphemous, but Cali probably has better Mexican rap, but I think Texas and Tex-Mex kind of had their own flair, had their own distinction, and is different, and kind of
You know what Cali
also
don't
has their
have though?
place.
Cali don't have that Mexican OT, bro. If you know, you know. You know?
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
The Mexican
Cali
OT,
also,
that's where it's at.
Cali also don't have carne guisada tacos. I'll tell you that.
Oh no.
Guisada, bro. When I first moved here, if you ask for kind of guisada, they're like asada. Like, no,
Yeah.
guisada. They're like, they don't even know what that is. They're like, what are you talking about? I'm like, it's like meat with the sauce on it, the carne, and so Cali don't have no guisada out here, bro, which drives me crazy. Like, I wish I had guisada with cheese, but you're not gonna find kind of guisada tacos out here in Cali, bro. You're gonna find Cali burritos and all that. There's a lot of more TJ style Mexican food out here, which is good. I'm not. It's really good, but Tejano and Tex-Mex food is just a little bit different. Um, they're both good in their own ways. So
Yeah. Somebody else is sending a picture. They just because I was gonna get to this as we bring the show to an end. So they're showing the popcorn bucket that they got. This is I think it's Kirby, the robot from Fantastic Four that's going to be
mhm.
premiering. Already came out, and Galactus. They're popcorn buckets. So whoever sent me this, man, good on you. You went ahead and got some collector's items there. But the Fantastic Four is coming out. It's a big how to do, summer blockbuster, what have you. Reviews are actually pretty good. I'm looking forward to seeing this. I'm gonna go check it out tomorrow with the family. So early reviews are in, and it's getting a 92% on the popcorn meter over at Rotten Tomatoes. So it's certified fresh. So I'm looking forward to seeing it. We'll see if it's any good or not. Not expecting a lot. Thinking it's more than those popcorn flicks where you don't ask questions, you just enjoy the ride. It makes perfect sense. Kind of like the
Yeah,
Jurassic Park movie I just saw a couple
right,
weeks back. So yeah, I'm looking forward to
right.
checking it out, man. That's out
Oh
there on
yeah.
the docket if you want to go ahead and see it. And another thing that's going to be premiering that comes out today, actually, Happy Gilmore 2.
Oh
It's gonna be on.
yeah,
It's on
yeah,
Netflix, dude. So
yeah,
I mean,
yeah.
I don't know if it's gonna be as good as the original, but I'll still
Yeah,
go
it's
and check
something
it
to
out.
watch. Yeah, it's something to
Yeah,
check out. Yeah,
have it
yeah.
in the
We
background,
got
as you
yeah,
clean.
yeah. I'm sorry, I don't know how to say that. Yashakar is a new name I haven't seen. And they said when I was in Camp Pendleton, my sister brought me uh carne asada tacos. So Ura the Shakar. Yeah, that if you know, you know about Camp Pendleton, man. I spent some time out there. So Ura Devil Dog, Marine Corps. So yeah, man. When you're out here, you know what's funny is you don't realize what you miss until you leave. You know what I mean? You don't. It's that's why it's funny to me when people who live and are from San Antonio bitch and moan and complain about San Antonio. Like it's crazy to me because when you leave and you go somewhere else, and don't get me wrong, man, I love San Diego, I love SoCal. It's a good time, but San Antonio's always home. So it's just wild to me when you complain about something and then when you leave it or you're not around it, you're gonna miss it. You're gonna miss
Yeah.
it.
Like
So
HEB
yeah, for sure.
or Bill Miller's, Bill
Oh
Miller's
yeah. I mean, I love yeah. Like people always give me crap about Bill Miller. Like, oh, there's better barbecue, and man, I've never once said that Bill Miller is like
is bougie
Blackie's
barbecue or
barbecue,
something.
or yeah,
Yeah.
like Blackie's, or one of those barbecue places that like they run out of barbecue and you know what I mean, and everybody lines up. I never
Yeah.
said it was that. It's affordable, good, solid food, man, and they're
It's
they're a
drive
San
through.
Antonio
It's
company,
fast food.
and
Fast food.
yeah, it's like a mix between fast food and like a sit down restaurant. That's what I always say. I
Yeah.
love Bill Miller's dog. I got a lot of respect for Bill Miller. Now, I worked in Bill Miller when I was a kid, all my teenage years. So of course
Yeah.
I have an affinity for Bill Miller, but you can never go wrong, man. They're affordable prices. They have, chicken strips, brisket, sausage, turkey. I mean, they have everything for anybody that you need. Um, salads. I mean, the soup. I mean, so I love Bill Miller, man. I love what they've done. The new CEO out there, or not new, but a couple of years in, has started doing merch and started doing other things. And then again, man, Bill Miller is it's San Antonio. It's damn near every corner out there. So enjoy it while you can.
I like the rancher plate personally. If I'm not getting that, I might get the poor boy. Or
Yeah.
sometimes, you know what hits the spot too, man? The chop. You get that little
Mm-hmm.
chop burger that they have with the two sandwiches and
Yeah.
the freaking tea and the
Yeah.
and the
Hey,
fries. I
don't
share
don't
it with
don't
my
don't
daughter.
ask. Hey, one thing about the chop, don't ask what it's made of. You
Nah,
don't
just
want to
eat
know.
that some
You
bitch,
don't want
dude.
to know. You don't want to know, bro. Just eat it. I've
Yeah.
worked at Bill Miller for all my 4 years of high school, and had I not joined the Marine Corps, I would have stayed with Bill Miller and became a manager and shit. I probably would have been a big wig executive now with Bill Miller had I stayed there. But don't ask what the chop is made of. Just enjoy it. It's good. Trust me, it's
Has
good.
some barbecue sauce on it. Yeah, dude. It make it
Exactly.
good.
It's good, bro. It's good. Don't it's like menudo and tripas, and sometimes you don't want to ask what it's made of. So
Hey man, for
shout
real
out to
though,
Bill Miller, man.
shout out to Bill Miller for the good breakfast tacos that they got out there, man. I
Oh,
don't know
bro,
what it
they're
is, man.
underrated. They're
The
underrated,
potato,
bro.
man, that potato that
Bro,
they use for the potato and egg, dude, that
I
slaps,
listen,
bro.
bro. That's another thing I get a lot of shit about, bro. I know there's a lot of good taquerias and all that stuff. I know that, bro. Trust me, I got it. Of course, dude. I grew up in San Antonio. Bill Miller breakfast tacos, bro. They're kind of underrated. They got the brisket,
Yeah.
egg, and cheese. They got the sausage and bean. They got the potato and egg. Like Bill Miller breakfast tacos they're kind of underrated, dog. They're kind of underrated. So um, you're never gonna be disappointed. You get that box for like $20 with
Yeah.
like 12 tacos, dog. Like, come on, dog. Like,
Yeah,
nah,
stop, bro.
man. Yeah.
Hey man, that and the chicken, dude. I like their fried chicken meal that they have there. That's pretty good,
Good
dude.
fried
With the
chicken. Yeah,
bread,
they'll
the
have a deal
bread and the
sometimes of like a $7 meal with like a two
yeah.
piece and a fry or whatever, dog. Yeah, you throw some jalapeno on juice on
Hey,
those on the fried chicken, bro.
that's
Like,
it.
yeah,
That's it. That's it right there,
yeah,
bro. The jalapeno con la pan that they
yeah,
give you, that little
yeah,
loaf of bread,
yeah,
and you just tear that off
yeah,
with the chicken, and then you have the side of fries and the sweet tea. Yeah, dude. There's your meal. You know, that's
yeah.
a good meal. That's a
Hey,
good
bro.
meal.
Yeah. Yeah. Ain't nothing wrong with Bill Miller, dog. Like I said, it's kind of between a fast food and a sit down restaurant. It's affordable, I mean, hey, people got families, dog. Like, you want to feed a family of four, a family of five, dog. Like, good luck going to one of those like fancy brisket places where, you know what I'm saying? Like, so,
It'd be like
you
100
know,
bills out the door.
yeah, exactly, exactly. So, and it's you gotta You got to make things affordable for people. We're like it's like we're talking about Spurs games. So people knock on Bill Miller's like, oh, it ain't authentic, or I'd rather go to some bougie barbecue. Cool, man. If you got a
Oh, yeah.
family of 5 or 6, dog, go ahead and go spend 100, two hundred
What's that one
dollars. I
place
mean,
called
good on
downtown?
you.
Pink's.
Yeah,
Pinkertons.
yeah. Pinkertons, yeah.
Yeah.
Pinkertons is good, man. I love Pinkertons. Awesome, dog. Don't get me wrong. I like Pinkertons, and I would never compare Pinkertons to Bill Miller's, dog. I'm not saying that they're the same. I'm just saying Bill Miller. You got it's about managing your expectations, dog. If
Yeah.
you know, look, I got a family of 4 that I need to feed with quality food. Go to Bill Miller's.
Yeah.
If me and my girl are gonna want some really really good brisket, hey, let's go to Pinkertons. So that's all.
Yeah, I used to get the kids the Buckaroo meal, dude. You can't go wrong with
Yeah.
that sucker, dude.
A
That was a
meat and
good.
2 sides. Yeah,
Yes,
yeah.
sir.
You get a meat and 2 sides, a quarter pound of brisket,
And a little brownie
sausage.
también en una drink.
Yeah,
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 dude.
yeah, exactly. Chicken leg and thigh, 2 sides. $5, dog, or whatever. Like, come on, bro. Like,
We're a kid, man.
yeah, yeah, exactly. It's bro, like I don't care how much you make or what a status you make in your life. And
Yeah.
I'm blessed that I do pretty well for myself, but I ain't opposed to going and getting some good cheap food, dog. You know what I'm saying? Like, come on. So yeah, man, you get the gravy, you get the ranch, with the chicken strips. Yeah.
It's good, dude.
Yeah.
Hey, I
Bill
was gonna
Miller, you
show this
gotta
to
go.
everybody, man. Y'all let me know because I'm thinking of making like some mobile wallpapers. So I started off with this one. I don't know y'all can all see it. That's the little
Yeah,
alien
yeah.
that I got going
Yeah,
on
yeah,
for
yeah.
now.
Sure.
I might go ahead and make those available to y'all. If y'all want to go ahead and support the show, for free.
Mhm.
Just a way of showing your support, man. Maybe release some of the wallpaper. Not only with that, the little alien with the mariachi outfit, but I also have some with the female alien on there too. And then I have them together. So we'll see, dude. Well, maybe I'll release those if there's enough interest in that and put them up there on the website or something where y'all can go and download them.
Yeah, that'd
All
be
right.
cool.
All right, man. So we're going to go ahead and call it a show. It was a good show, man. And we had a lot of nostalgia talk. We talked about wrestling, talked a little bit about Project Marvel, so it was a good talk. I mean, we didn't really get into the boxing or anything. We'll get into that later on. But nonetheless, it was a good trip down memory lane with you, Rick. I appreciate you sporting the gear and also donating your time for the show,
Always,
bro.
bro. Always, bro. Look at that. And that's
Yeah.
I like the look at that.
The
That's an
little
old school
patch.
patch right there. Yeah.
Yeah.
Of course, bro. I
Yeah.
appreciate you having me, man. I really do, man. I give you and Mike a lot of props, man, because I appreciate you. I'm not a trained media guy or podcast guy and all that. And sometimes, we get a little heated in here, but it's just poodle. But I do appreciate you guys allowing me to come on here and kind of, say my piece. I'm just trying to represent and I appreciate you guys. So.
Look at that. Hey, Joe, what's the last 4 of your social while you're at it? And the 3 digits on the back of your card. Hombre, bro. From just showing the phone. There's nothing on there. Nothing on there. I can't give you none of that too, by the way. Joe kicked Mike out. That felt loud. No, bro. Mike had to go to work.
Mike had some business to take care of, bro. He gotta build up those 1099. So
yeah, there you go.
Shout out to Mike, man. But hey, everybody have a good weekend. Real quick, it's not as a big a boxing event as last week because we had Pacquiao, Barrios, Bam, but there's some fights this weekend in New York. Xander Zayas, Puerto Rican star, is gonna fight. Fernando Vargas' son is on the undercard. It's Shushu Carrington, who's a really, really good young American fighter, is on the fight. So it's ESPN. It's not pay-per-view or anything like that. So check out those fights tomorrow night. Good card of boxing action tomorrow.
Hell yeah. So make sure you go ahead and check that out. All right, so we're going to go ahead and head out. We're going to call it a show, but you know what? We appreciate you boys and gals for joining and tuning in.
Absolutely.
And like we always say, it's Friday. We don't give a damn. And you know what?
Oh, it's Friday, and I'm broke. My check better not be short.
We'll see you guys on Monday. Have a great weekend. Stay safe. We're out. Peace.
Stay poodle.